You are watching CIOTV by Enterprise IT World, a production of Accent Info Media.
Hi, good morning. My name is Amey. I'm from EY. Thank you, Enterprise IT and the entire team of the Sanjay sir. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure for sitting at the back at the stage and then being on the stage with such infosec leaders. So it's a great pleasure for me. And thank you all for joining over. It's a first of kind in a hybrid model. So great. So let's start this session. So it's about mobility, right? We want everything on the fingertips, starting from booking the tickets or boarding pass, say, whatever you do, you want everything on mobile, right? That's how the today's world, right? Starting from your morning till night, everything. Now saying that with this kind of digital transformation, there are digital risks which are also involved, right? And which are also unknown. So today, I think we have a great leaders, Neehar, Satyavrat, Yogesh are there, and probably we can talk about more since last 2 years, we have seen a lot of attacks are happening. So Yogesh, the first question to you is right, what kind of attacks would you like to talk about on the mobile phones have evolved in last couple of years, pre-pandemic or post-pandemic? So that is the first question to you.
Okay, good morning, all of you. So as we see, there is a increase in use of mobile devices. So first we need to understand why the mobile attacks are increasing actually. So if we check the statistics, the new app downloads that has come to 230 billion, and the App Store spend itself $170 billion, which is a 19% increase from the last year. Then again, the user who is spending more time onto the device is 4.8 hours a day, which is again 30% increased. So these are few statistics which tells us that we are spending more and more time onto the mobile devices. And during the pandemic, so we have seen the classes were attended through the mobile, or virtual classes were attended through the mobiles or through laptops or other devices. So mobile devices are most of the time used because affording laptop was a bit difficult task for the users who are into the families who are there into the lower middle or the middle class one. So that's why this has increased a lot. And if we talk about the hacking statistics, so in last year or last few months itself, you can say 845% increased in hacking attempts, right? In India itself for the last 6 months, right? So these are the horrible statistics that let us know that why the people are getting into the mobile traps. And as you know, the phishing and smishing attacks are increasing day by day. So most of the attacks that are happening to the mobile device are through the smishing, through the phishing, through the SMS link, right? So why people are attracted towards that? So let us understand, because people are what they are saying that there are a lot of offers. Earlier, the offers were used to be grabbed by going to going to a mall, going to a shop, that were more attracted. But now everything is onto the mobile. So they get a simple link. The Tata group is giving Samsung TV for free, or Samsung the company is giving free for this kind of stuff. So just the people who knows about these kind of hackings, so they do not click. But most of the time, users are so much fascinated and they click the data, they click the link, and they do not know the repercussion around it. So it goes into the device, it takes off the control, and the app control that is given to the device, to that app, right? Mobile control basically. So mobile controls in the sense access to the telephone directory, access to the photographs, access to location. These are very common thing that every people is giving to that app. right? And somewhere we are very forced to do it. Otherwise, app doesn't work at all. Correct. So these are few things where the people fail to understand that the devices are taking, the apps are taking control. And nowadays, we know that giving OTP is something dangerous, but giving permissions to the app itself is more dangerous. So the people calling from the remote side, hackers calling, they simply ask you to click on the link, right? Then you will get an offer of 600 rupees, 1000 rupees, or 6 lakh rupees, right? So people are fascinated. They just click it and they don't know what will happen around it. Scan the unknown barcodes, use the UPI connections, right, which are unknown. So, and just paying money through the digital means has become a new payment method for the industry, for every people now. Digital money is going around, right? So, but at the same time, uh, we must be careful enough to use those things. So, if we talk about the policies, even in the organizations, BYOD policy is not so much strict. So backup of the devices, even passwords. So every day and night, there are hacking attempts happening. Passwords are getting leaked. Still, people are using a simple password. Their date of birth, their this one, the combination of name and date of birth, son or family date of birth, right? Likewise, so that becomes very easy and very easy target for the hackers to crack, because the kind of data you give to the marketing agencies, that contains all those things, right? If one marketing agency comes to the people, comes to the user and ask that we are offering this holiday package for free, and just you fill up this form, they fill on all the informations, date of birth also, family details also, everything. And the,
Absolutely.
yeah, and second thing, then Facebook, if everybody knows, if anybody knows about your Facebook account, he knows everything. You want to give a ice cream to the your son, what is your favorite ice cream, the other person knows now, correct?
True. Even with the where are they going for a party, where are they going for a dinner, today I'm here. So entire the location mapping is also one of the key element. So
Yes.
great, sir. I mean, that was a great, I'll say great introduction and great start to the topic. And you rightly said the attacks have increased by 845%, which is around 1315 earlier in 2019-20, and it is around now 12,000 plus, which
Right.
is a fantastic stat, sir. So I'll move to the Mr. Neehar, right? So would like to understand how organizations should take the business risk into the consideration while using of the mobile phones.
Well, the mobile phones also has the same risk that all your other devices in your organization have, your IT devices have. But over and above, because these are mobile devices, there's three particular risks that we monitor. And these risks are, one is your amplification risk, because what happens is these devices being very small in nature, it's very easy for a hacker or a malware to bypass your small screen. If you see a phishing email, for example, on your laptop or your computer, it's most probably you see on the website that's unprotected, but seeing the size being so small, you usually miss it, and most of the mobile devices end up getting compromised. The next risk is a specific risk. As these devices are mobile, a lot of theft and these are lost. So this effectively reduces your productivity, and it's a great risk being specifically, it's not able to cater to your organization devices. So Saying that, and we have also the gateway risk. On gateway risk, mobile devices now act as a gateway to enter your corporate network. So although the hacker would plant a malware on your device, might not be interested on your device, but it would then further wants to enter your enterprise because yours is a secured or connected device. Saying that because mobile devices are, users usually are very lax and lazy when it comes to accessing mobile. So being relaxed, the level of their security decreases. And this it makes them very vulnerable.
Great. Thank you. So we'll move on to Mr. Satyavrat. Okay. So we would like to understand, because since rightly said by even Yogesh and Neehar, is that even we are using mobile phones a lot, even our kids are using, our parents are using a lot. Now, saying that organizations are taking care with some of the elements with the MDM, right? Would you like to throw some light on how the MDM should be, used, or what are the recent? I'll talk about, say, how it has changed the game, MDM, by coming to the picture, and how attackers are targeting MDM itself, and what should we do on that?
Okay, thanks. So I think one of the biggest opportunity that an MDM had was during this lockdown, right? I mean, especially the demand for BYOD suddenly, went up, and almost all the organization, perhaps they were not even prepared for, this kind of a scenario. But I think mostly it's a missed opportunity because perhaps either those MDMs, in terms of configurations, too complicated, right, to enable these kind of a scenario for BYOD kind of a setup, one-click setup kind of scenario. Now, post pandemic, I think there is a lot of traction and everybody is thinking. And initially, obviously, organization everybody had. I mean, we also had MDM solution, but unfortunately, it also depends on the culture of the organization, right? In some financial services, it is far easier to say that if you have to have access to a company environment or application or even email, then it is a mandatory for you to go for an MDM kind of a setup. But with all other kind of industries, like we are from manufacturing and all, they are really not that sophisticated. And see, mobile is one area where people are not comfortable putting a kind of application that is given by the organization, because it's a personal device. Even though organization reimburses the amount and all, but it's still it remains a personal device, and therefore there is still a hitch, or people are not really comfortable. So the maximum that we have been able to do, and mostly what I have also seen, is that people have been able to say put security around the application. So maybe a MAM kind of a solution. So we use Intune, and it has both the flavors, but only MAM has been put in place to secure maybe OneDrive, MS Teams, and Outlook. But as far as the rest is concerned, it's still a something that comes up in our internal discussions and debate, but haven't really been able to progress much. I think one area which MDM companies themselves can look at is maybe further simplify. I think one of the things that I have seen is that it's just too complicated, the way the policies have to be designed, and how it really restricts the mobile phones in terms of what you can do. I think if a further simplification can be done, then perhaps the adoption will really go up.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that's what we have seen over the decades, right? In the first decade, we have seen that it was asset driven, where ISO 27000-2005 talks about asset process. Then it becomes process driven in next decade, which is 2013 of ISO. And now it is completely data driven. So that doesn't mean we should not follow asset and process also. But saying that, Mr. Yogesh, the question to you is, what do you think, how much we are secure using this kind of mobile phones for official and personal purpose, while having a risk of exposure of PII data or PHI data?
So if we talk about the security perspective, so the people are having their own personal data as well as official data onto the mobile. And the kind of increase in the last few years towards the mobile device uses, the data has increased on both sides, personal as well as official. So if we talk about the statistics itself, so 76% of the tested mobile apps itself store data insecurely. So when it comes to the insecure mode, people lose their confidence their confidence loses out. They come back to the organization because nowadays you can't shut people mouth, right? Because of something, because of the organization policy. They always go into the web and take out something. So I talk about one incident where rollout of MDM becomes challenging for the organization. People says that this device is mine. Why people, while the organization should have a control over it, and I don't know what kind of control the organization will have. Will it have access to my WhatsApp, my SMS, or any other kind of app data, right? So rollout becomes that way difficult. But as far as security is concerned, the organization is forced to do that. So the better way is to put a containerization. So it should be totally containerized, that where is your personal data and where is your official data. MDM helps us in containerizing those applications which are belong to organization itself. So, and there we can be more confident that this is what the data is secure. In case of the attacks, the phishing attacks are more nowadays. So mobile device should be equipped with the security aspects of it also. So we can talk about Zimperium or any other mechanism that we can put onto the mobile device, where not only the containerization facility, because containerization only protects towards the data which is onto the device, onto the container, but it doesn't protect the person from other attacks, right? So those attacks can be prevented by using some other mechanism. Either we should have next generation AV, or the threat defense, mobile defense kind of, just like Gimperium. So we can use that one. There is a myth around the iOS and Android security also. So most of the people think the iOS is most secure. Yes, iOS is secure, but to what extent? It should not be taken as that everything is secure in iOS, and just you take iOS phone and everything is secure. No, you should be aware. So awareness part for the employees, for the end user, is very, very, very important. You put any security in front in devices or across the organization, the awareness part is foremost important. If, let's say, I talk about, let's say, the device is secure. If somebody calls and asks you to put only a simple URL into your mobile, click it and download one app, you won't be able to protect it, right? Because you have already given a control to it, and whatever it is, it does. You are taking the manual exercise over it. You are manually overriding that one. So that way, a user must be educated towards that. And nowadays, ransomware attacks are getting increased, even onto the mobile devices, right? So mobile devices are supposed to be protected now onwards if your personal data or your official data is the compromised. But at least if the organization has MDM policy, proper MDM policy, and the proper controls over it, then at least we can make sure that we are protected to some extent. Right.
Sure. Okay. Thanks. I mean, that makes a great summary that not only one technology, it should be a multiple tools or technology along with the right processes with the proper awareness. That's a great summary, and we'll definitely talk in detail about it at the end also. So Neehar, next point we would like to get understanding about is that, what do you think how this attacks has evolved, right? We have seen Russia-Ukraine war. There has been a lot of attacks happening. Probably the shift has moved a little bit from India to other countries, fortunately for some time period, but still again, it has come up with a more sophistication by the attackers, from script kiddies nowadays to be a state sponsored or any next generation level of, attack. So what do you think the changes has happened from pre-pandemic to post-pandemic?
Massive changes from pre-pandemic to post-pandemic. Pre-pandemic, we were living in a world where antivirus threat management was something that was an add-on and not much on focus. But as Yogesh rightly said, that we had more than 800% of attacks only in India. Yeah, and this, if you see the stats, last year 21 million apps were published on both the stores, out of which 77% were Android. So, and India, if you see what he said was 4.7 hours is what we have gained. Pre-pandemic, this was 3.7 hours, a normal user being on a mobile device. The longer you are on a mobile device, we are the fourth largest country to be on that. So post-pandemic, because of this, as a corporate, we thought we were defending our perimeter network. But when the users started work from home, these were now the IT admins and the organizations also had to do a hybrid role. They had to not only protect their perimeter, but now their entire network extension was going out into homes, residences, cyber cafes, hotels. So we needed a very secured location, security. And post-pandemic, although many organizations are calling users back, they have been resistance because people are used to it. While at the same time, 50% of the users do want to come back and work. So it's always going to be a hybrid model. And the task for administrators or organizations, security teams is going to double, because now they will be not only focused 50% on the organization security, but also on the device security. And one last point, what you wanted to add for the MDM deployment, what Yogesh has said, is we sell MDM over MAM to our users with one single reason, that in case a device is lost, yeah, with MDM installed, we could do a remote wipe, which is one of the major selling points for us in our organization.
Right, absolutely. Then, Mr. Satyavrat, the next question is about, would you like to share some thoughts around how the attackers usually use some different tricks, or what are the common ways they try to fool the people? And if you would like to talk about any of the recent incident,
Sure.
that would be great.
Yeah, sure. So as both of them pointed out, the phishing remains one of the the common areas, both for the mobile as well as the endpoint devices. But apart from that, specifically on mobile, I think one of the recent ones that I can think of is FluBot, right? So that impacted, I think, Europe and Australia and a couple of countries, where it was a smishing attack. Basically, as SMS is sent, along with a link, and people just click on that link, and then the entire mobile then app gets installed. And the objective was to obviously get the financial information and details from the mobile. So that is another way in which attacks are happening on the mobile. Another thing where which I can think of, man in the middle, free Wi-Fi. Everybody wants a free Wi-Fi and connects to it, and then what you realize is even cafes are now these days are giving free Wi-Fi, and there is a possibility that somebody may create an SSID with the same name, and then you connect to it, and then your data is going to somebody else. So that is another area. And a lot of free apps which are available even in the Google Play Store. There are a lot of apps, and then we come to know, obviously it is very difficult for an end user who is downloading at that point in time that it is malicious in nature. It happens that 6 months, 1 year down the line that people realize, and then finally it is taken down. So that is another thing which is happening. There are a lot of free apps also outside the Play Store, right, which people sometimes try to test, etc. And that also causes this kind of a thing.
Here I would like to add one of the new ways people are trying to make you download malware or ransomware is the most famous QR code that we see and now we are using in everyday part of our life. Just like we have seen examples, not in India, but other places internationally, is such conferences. They place a QR code placeholder on the table or on a wall or on public places and say declare free prizes, and a user looking at it simply goes and clicks and the download starts. So that is becoming a big way of getting into your cell phone.
Absolutely, that's the most trickiest thing I have, for today. You told me also. That's superb. So I'll restrict myself from scanning, and I'll try to pay in a Google Pay with number. I'm just kidding. Okay. So Satyavrat, you want to add? Because
Yeah,
it
no, no.
was-
So these are in a couple of things, and then obviously, in terms of how one can really secure, etc. I think we just have to be careful. It is all about the awareness. Don't try to fall victim to such kind of a free kind of thing, and I think that itself would really help people staying away from such kind of scams.
Absolutely. So, Yogesh sir, would like to ask you from it's kind of a very high level question, like what strategies we should adopt from an organization perspective, from a defense perspective, or from for even what we would like to tell the people or the CISOs, CXOs of the different organizations to follow from a data security point of view and a point of view for an end user as well.
Okay. So first of all, there is no golden bullet, whether it comes to any organization. The security policies should be defined considering the environment. First, environment study is foremost important. What kind of data we have, where we have, how to secure, which data needs more attention. So data discovery becomes the foremost concern. So most of the organization are not means I will not say any statistics around it, but yes, the people are not aware what kind of data is residing where. So from the last 3 years, when pandemic started, the people moved towards the cloud, adopting different strategy without looking into the proper structure. So at that time, it was very important for a BCP planning perspective. Yes, people have adopted different strategies, but now it's a time, at least we should look into the data. Where is that data residing? So data discovery is foremost part. Then the data classification. So we should classify the data which is more important for the organization or for the customers. Then after classification, we have to put the enough controls towards it. Again, don't just look into the products available in the market. Look for the solutions. That solution may be helpful with the existing systems available with you. Simply closing USB, simply protecting admin rights, or something like that, right? So it depends on the organization itself, what kind of structure is there, what kind of environment is there, what kind of product they are making, and what kind of customers are there. From all perspective, the environmental studies must be made, and then architecture must be laid out. Cyber security framework must be laid out for the organization, how to protect that one, right? For the end users or for the even the organization, a strong BYOD policy must be there. As far as mobile devices concerned, so BYOD policy is very, very critical. What kind of data they can carry, what kind of device they can carry. Device standardization is also important part. So there are devices which are having Android version which are very, very old. So from that perspective, we have to be very firm. Then we have to design a mechanism for backup of the devices. The third one is important is password policy. Either we move to a passwordless authentication or towards a strong password mechanism. We should adopt that one. Then mobile device security policy is also a concern. In case of end user, the first myth that everybody has, it will not happen to me. Just like they think that it has happened to the world, statistics they see, but they don't think that it can reach to them also, right? So they should also be aware about that, that the threat can reach to them at any moment. So two very, very important things that I will bring in. One is the mobile permission controls. Whenever there is an app installed, we should always look into the mobile app permission controls. So in case momentarily, let's say that app is asking and we are forced to give it, later on when it is not being used, please disable that or remove the device, remove the app itself if it is not used. So we have a habit that we install the app for a momentary purpose and we keep it for all. And that device, that app keeps on monitoring our required things. And the third, the second thing is unknown link. Please don't click the unknown links received through mail, phone, SMS, wherever, right? So these are few things that we can take control. Another one is the secure Wi-Fi. Use only secure Wi-Fi. Don't use unsecured, publicly available Wi-Fi. Try to use your own hotspot. Try to use your own Wi-Fi source. Actually, nowadays we have become very habituated towards the data uses. Abhi aaj khana nahi mile to that becomes secondary, but data is important. So everybody looks towards that, right? Or Wi-Fi kahin pe bhi mil jata hai, to then we tend to use that one. So please refrain yourself using the public Wi-Fis, because we have seen many attempts that entire data is theft, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Same goes for Bluetooth also. That's correct. Absolutely correct. So thank you, sir. I mean, also we'll come on the data protection part also at the end. We'll have some of you, one of you to summarize on the upcoming data protection bill. But before that, Neehar sir, would you like to talk about if we have, say, MDM and antivirus, is it going to be a target for the hackers to attack through that channel of MDM?
Well, I say the first step is an antivirus. The second step is a MDM, but these two do not guarantee you that you would not be attacked. There are more sophisticated ways to get around them. You have to first understand that MDM is a data leakage prevention from the organization point of view. When people do not want to install MDM, organizations then get into application management. They will only manage those applications securely. But what I feel is MTM, the mobile threat management, is a key. This complements the entire security gamut. Unless you have all three in place, it's going to be very difficult. But starting off with just antivirus and MDM is a good start. But if you really want to have something which is real time and blocking, now the new MTMs are AI powered. And this happens in real time where you don't have to take control. The MTM takes control of it completely.
Absolutely. So Satyavrat, I mean, would like to understand from what would you like to give as a summary or the tips to the end users with respect to that? And we don't see a much awareness about BYOD, right? So what role the awareness will play in the industry?
Sure. So I think, as we already discussed, the MDM and mobile security is not an area which has got as significant attention as compared to maybe a server security or endpoint security, right? In most of the organizations. So it is certainly, awareness is the key, and not just to the employees, but also to the larger audience. So for example, just to give an example, in Godrej, we are running a awareness session even for the partners. So there are, there are saloon, there are ladies from, towns, small towns, etc., which is part of a Godrej CSR activity, right? So some of them actually got phished, and the team actually got into action. They logged a police complaint, etc. So as part of this initiative, what we are doing is that we are also imparting education to them on how to take care of your mobile and securing it, or Wi-Fi related. So some of these aspects, not just to the employees, but even to the people who are associated with the organization. And I think the other thing which I can think of is that even the mobile manufacturers themselves have to come more on the education side. I think Apple is already doing it in terms of giving a update on the what is the data that is being shared. I think they are working a lot on the privacy side. Similar kind of steps I think can be taken by Google, also should be taken by them.
I would like to add here is all we are talking about is prevention and detection. But in case there is mitigation, right? You are attacked. What we suggest is you also have a helpline in your organization and have spread awareness that a user, if he's attacked, is not crucified. Yeah, you give a confidence to a user in case, because most of the time the delay of a user reporting that he has been attacked takes away those critical crisis moment when the IT team could actually act. So give them a confidence. They say that you should be the first one to call in, put in a helpline number and ask them, give that comfort that anything like this happens, be the first to tell.
Absolutely, that is the need of an hour, that where to report, whom to report, and even if you're in doubt, you don't have to be sure about the incident, you just report it. That's it. That's a good suggestion and input. So I would like to have two more questions. One is about data protection bill, how it is going to talk about this mobility factor. Whoever wants to take up, you want to take Neehar?
Well, I have been studying that for a long time now, gone through the draft for the last couple of years, and we're still waiting for it. And of course, it's going to change a lot of things. If you see and study the draft, it is been studied. The largest data protection bills is US, Europe, and China. And our bill, which comes in from India, is much stronger than all these three countries. So once this happens, it's going to be a transformation change. And I think the change is going to be so great. And that's the delay which it is taking, because each line or each point in that bill is going to give a absolutely direction changing security and control for end users.
Absolutely correct. So Satyavrat, the one question about what he talk about, the incident happens, right? What to do after that? So forensic investigation is kind of a need of an hour, but people are not aware about it, right? People sometimes do just formatting of the wiping the data. They think everything is gone, but there is always a possibility of a residual malware sitting behind it. So would you like to throw some highlights on how it will be effective to have a forensic investigation done if there is an incident?
Yeah, so certainly it is very, very important. Typically for endpoints, since these are owned by the organization, so we do it because it's a organization's property. But with mobile phones, I think one of the problems is that people are not really comfortable giving even for the forensics, because there may be lot of things which they may not want to share with others, right? So I think it's a matter of awareness. It may not happen like overnight, and since organizations do not really have control on these devices, so you cannot insist. But I think only thing that we can think of is maybe making people aware that we should really report and investigate so that others do not fall victim to such kind of incidents. I think that is the only thing I can think of.
Absolutely. So we'll now move to the summarizing the event. Okay, we'll have a final inputs and comments and insights by everyone. So Yogesh sir, would like to give a conclusion summary from your end?
Yeah, so as a summary, we can say that overall user must be aware about the data that he is putting into his mobile device or into the official device. And organization must be aware about that data, what kind of controls we can put, what kind of segregation we can put over the personal data or the official data, and how prevention mechanism can be there. So at the end of the day, if we say who is responsible for the security, so it's all. It's not the single one who is responsible. Most of the time, whenever it is asked in the organization, IT team is responsible. So it's not the IT team. It's all, the user as well as the organization. Both are equally responsible. They have to take care of their own parts, and keeping into the this thing that the data protection are going to be very, very stringent for the organization. So I would say that organization should start preparing themselves for the data discovery and making user awareness what to keep onto the official device, what not to keep onto the official device, so that it doesn't become a difficult part later on. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. That security is everyone's responsibility. We are hearing this out. That's kind of a true CIO sentiments are coming out also. That's why you're saying that. So we'll move to you, Neehar, for a conclusion.
An interesting session. We saw MDM, we saw MTM, and how do we secure. My last summarizing point as a information to all present is, how do you know that your device is hacked? Yeah, there are a few 4-5 signs that all users who are present here should know. First is your device starts heating up. Your mobile device starts heating up. Your battery starts draining out much faster. You see excessive data usage. If you monitor your data usage, you see excessive data usage. If you have a malware in your mobile, you will see sometimes in your gallery some photos which you have not clicked but around you. So that's when the hacker is trying to click photos around you and use them as for ransomware. And best is to keep your mobile devices updated. That's nothing like it, because the operating systems of all devices are very good at doing their job at keeping, but most of them, because of the high download of an OS upgrade, many people tend to be away from it, and it's time consuming, but that's the only way to keep it secure.
Absolutely. So over to you, Satyavrat.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. So I think, as we already discussed, I think mobile device security is an area that is not, as we already mentioned, that is something that there is still a lot of things to be done on this, especially on the awareness side, and rolling out MDM solutions and rolling out maybe an antivirus solutions, etc. Right. So that is the thing that most of the organizations really look forward to, and make people aware, and also, as I mentioned, mobile service providers themselves should look towards imparting education or making people aware on the privacy side. So these are the things that I think we should do. Yeah.
Absolutely, data privacy is also one of the element. So from here we'll move to a question and answers. If anyone have a questions from public.
So my question is particularly on the Android platform. Like we have the Android release 12 as of now running on the latest systems. It automatically has that kind of thing. Actually, it removes the unused application permission after 30 days or some days. Actually, can't customize actually, but I think so using MDM, EDM, it still can be used in terms of removing the unwanted apps, particular permission related to your microphone, to your camera and other stuff. So my question is, with the operating system, that is the ecosystem which is already supporting it, and then powered by the enterprises with respect to kind of a workspace kind of creation in the mobile itself, and doing the containerization such as Samsung Knox or any other services, what else organization can do apart from already having this native controls and putting EDM or MDM and then doing the containerization apart from the policy side of it?
Yeah, like I said, MDM and the basic OS does not guarantee you you read mobile threat management, and without mobile threat management, that's the only way I feel which will reduce your risk to a very large extent.
Great. Hope does that answer your question?
To mobile, in your opinion, and any of the panelists can answer this question, how do you balance data security requirements under BYODs if you have a policy on BYODs? And does putting in too much of data security intrude on the data privacy of the individual? So any thoughts? Again, I know there's no black and white in this, but if there can be any thoughts shared.
Yeah, it's we call it a seesaw, right? Convenience and security do not go in tandem always. There is a job of a CISO to see where you can balance, and it all depends on the culture of the organization. Yeah, if it is very IP centric, you have more power. But when it comes to organizations like manufacturing, the user becomes a little more powerful, which becomes a little difficult for you to implement policies. But being in IT software, being IP property, intellectual property holders, that it is a given that these are the policies which have to be pushed, and this is the way it is going to be.